All right, it's Thursday morning, really early.
ATXHELI
Set me straight on this, and I think I've got what I want now. So this is the belt-driven pan and tilt, greatest belt-driven pan and tilt on the planet, in my humble opinion. I'll put another link to where you can get them in my description. But you'll see now it's pointed straight ahead. If I start rolling the pot to the lower side, you can see here the PWM's going down 1300, 12, 11, 10 as I move towards the rear. And there you go. There it is, pointing directly to the rear at 646 PWM. Let's go the other way. 18, 1900, 20, 21, 22. There's 23. That's more than to the rear. Actually, to the rear is right there. 2230-ish. Okay, maybe right there. 2220-ish. That is without the hardware servo stretcher in there. ArduPilot has finally matched iNav. iNav's had this for, I suppose, years. But ArduPilot, I found it hidden about 3 or 4 versions ago last year, but it's become prominent recently. I wanted to learn how to do this without a hardware servo stretcher. If JD can sell 360 pan and tilts to people with Ardu, no longer do they have to have a hardware servo stretcher to make it work. It'll work with ArduPilot. Let me show you over on the computer how I got this running.
And this is my video from yesterday, and this morning when I got up, there was this really nice reply from ATXHELI. Oh, rats, I read that as ATI-HELI before. Ooh, sorry. I went immediately to their page and clicked subscribe to all, and then I started looking around for Patreon. Can't find any Patreon or anything, but I will be going back and reviewing a lot of videos of this person. It looks great. Love it. And ATXHELI, you can email me at rchelp@wnc.com, and we'll figure out how I can buy you a cup of coffee. I'd love to do that. This was the comment I woke up to. The output range is about 500 microseconds to 200. Low high end depends on the servo capabilities, which should overdrive a 180-degree servo to 360. Yeah, I'm hoping for that, or close to. We'll see. It depends on the physical size of the center tapped resistor that's in there. Is it going all the way to the end of each side of that? And if it is, you're not going to get any more out of it. If you drive it past that, you're going to really screw up the inside. But that's for a different video. This isn't a servos in depth. Servo output from you setting the servo min to servo max. It's not actually servo min to servo max, I found. Those would be output respectively. Now here is the statement they made that solved the problem. Use the configure full perimeter tree to allow the setting of values beyond the mission planner safe range. What does that mean? That means when you come into this area, right? Oops. If you're over here in this, and you're working with this, and here it is. If you go in here, this value to me doesn't do a darn thing. That should be the min, but it's the trim, in my humble opinion, that works. I'm going to knock this down to 850 by hand, just so I can illustrate what I'm talking about. So there it is at 850. You try to take it down in here below 800, you're not going to. And you set it to 400 and tab, it'll go right back to 800. Same thing for this one. If you set it to 2300 and hit tab, servo is out of range. Do you want it to accept the new value? Whoa, wait a minute. I upgraded to 434. 433 wasn't doing that right there. Will this go? So you can't move it this way below. Let's see if I go 600 here and hit tab. Nope, that one keeps going back. So their statement, again, right here, use the config full perimeter tree to allow setting the values beyond the safe range. That solved it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because you have to come over here in the servo 9 function. One of them you can get higher. You can see the 2300 stayed. But this wouldn't go lower than 800 over there. So right here, I can set that to 600. Tab. It warns me, but I can write out that value, and it stays. You can power down the platform, which disconnects it up here, and you can re-power up the platform, and then you can reconnect. I'm talking really slow at this time, not as a southern person, but as waiting for the USB to catch up. Servo 9, and you can see those stayed. And that's how it works. I got it working perfectly that way. Although I bet it's the trim is actually the low side of that, and the max, min side of that, and the max is still the max. But this is the min. Or maybe it's a trim value they're putting in. I don't know. I'm not the programmer. This servo min right here doesn't seem to make a darn bit of difference. If you change it around to 600, it's not going to do what you think it will. And this is what's over here. I cannot tell ATXHELI how much I appreciate this. I really do hope the rest of you who might want to use this function now appreciate this. That's why I'm posting this video. Maybe you'll go buy ATXHELI a cup of coffee. Or order a 360 pan and tilt from JD at JD Adventures. I am going to try to work with this when my new servo comes in the next week to 3 weeks. That was what will finish up the second Sky Hunter. It's all finished except for the pan and tilt on the front. I just can't do the final video because it isn't technically finished. But I'm going to go back today on 3 JD Adventure pan and tilts and remove the hardware servo stretcher from them because it's no longer needed in ArduPlane. And I fully suspect ArduCopter, ArduRover, ArduBoat, ArduSub, ArduTracker. I don't know why it would be needed on a tracker, but so I'm pretty excited about this. It's only 15 grams for those servo stretchers, and those servo stretchers are only like 25 bucks a piece. That's not the thing for me. The thing for me was, I just like to do it without the extra hardware in there. 15 grams is 15 grams after all. But it's solved now.
And now I have taken all 3 of the servo stretchers out of all 3 of my airplanes that they were in. By the way, I bought this servo stretcher 5-6 years ago. Not a bad thing to have around. When I went back to when I bought my first pan and tilt, I put that on it and it fixed the problem. But I went to buy another servo stretcher for the next ones I bought 2 more. I bought 3 so far. Completely happy with them. When I went to buy another servo stretcher from Servo City, they didn't have them anymore. They were discontinued. Now they sell what they call a servo travel tuner. So for my second and third pan and tilt, I had bought 2 of the travel tuners. They're only 20 bucks or so. There's not that much to them. But that's the hardware solution. Now ArduPilot has a software solution that works. Just a slight little more comments on JD Adventures pan and tilts. There is much more to them than this 360 problem I have that I want to solve. He makes up your pan and tilt custom. You'll have to talk to him about this. I hope I'm not speaking out of school. For the camera you're using. Mine, 2 of them were the RunCam split, and don't remember what the third one is right off the top of my head. But he does much more than just the pan and the tilt. He sets up the area where the camera goes and any associated hardware with the camera, like the little board that comes out of the split that you see. And his newest ones have a channel through the bottom at the pivot point for all the wires to go through. You won't have wires hanging out on the top like I do right now. That is a major breakthrough. That's something I won't have. I'm searching to print my own pan and tilt so I can print out a part at the drop of a hat. Maybe I should just offer JD $1,000 for rights to his STL files so I could print them anytime I wanted to. But I don't know. I don't have that money, so that's kind of out of the question. But I do need to be able to print. If I break apart on the bench on my pan and tilts, I want to be able to just turn on the 3D printer and have a new part in like an hour. That's most important to me right now. Having the wires all hidden inside through a channel down the center is pretty sweet. So I just wanted to mention that about JD Adventures pan and tilts, because they are valuable for much more than their 360-degree plus movement. They are valuable because they really protect the other electronics that may be attached to your pan and tilt. Let me just move over here and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, on this one, he made it up. But this is a RunCam split 4K, so it's got a flight camera on the bottom and a 4K camera on top. Let me see. I'm going to have to take this off the tripod real quick so you can see. Right below the tilt servo here, you're going to see there's a place, the little boards right there for this RunCam split. All done by JD. So he not only does you a 360 pan and tilt, he does you a place to mount hardware kind of in his pan and tilts. And then, like I say, his new ones, all the wires go straight through this. You don't have any of this sticking out the top. That's not his doing. That's my doing anyway. But I'm just trying to throw in a plug for JD. Buy one. They are great.
I'll try to relate this to JD so he can tell his ArduPilot people how to make this work, just like he's been telling the iNav people how to make it work. So, that's the end of my search on RCINxScaled. Thank you guys, and a special thank you to ATXHELI.